This qualitative study will be for teacher collaboration. First, start with a review of the literature. The Individuals with Disability Act was brought into place by the Congressional Law Number 94-142. This enables special education students to be enrolled in general education classes, which results in the opportunity for fair and equal education. A student's individual education program, or IEP, is developed by an IEP team to meet the needs and learning objectives of the student in the least restrictive environment. The IEP supports the parameters of IDEA and provides a plan for students, teachers, administrators, counselors, parents, and other stakeholders. This plan ensures appropriate accommodations, modifications, and goals are in place. The call for inclusion can be rooted in the civil rights push and demand for equality. This movement helped establish the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1974, which later became IDEA of 1992. Recent advancements in education for students with disability include least restrictive environment and free and appropriate public education. These are all part of IDEA 2004 authorization. These advancements in policy and law have directed schools to ensure students receive special education services and instruction in a general education setting with their non-disabled peers. Recent research has shown there is a benefit to inclusion. However, there are some barriers that are in place. The addition of a co-teacher, a certified special education teacher in the inclusion classroom, has helped solve the problem of a diverse environment for a single teacher. However, this has brought more barriers to this table. Teachers struggle to plan and provide differentiated instruction for multiple students. It's crucial that special and general education teachers collaborate and plan to address these student needs. In a case study, there's evidence that when co-teachers meet and plan at least once a day, there is a higher success in students' achievement than those that do not collaborate at least once a day. The ability of general and special education teachers to communicate and plan will increase preparedness of the curriculum and help teachers reach student needs. The promotion of skill development and authentic collaboration between the special and general education teachers is essential for a school that wants to successfully implement a co-teaching environment. The purpose of this study is to explore the collaborative strategies of successful collaboration co-teachers in the inclusion classroom. The study will provide specific strategies, dynamics, and methods used by experienced and successful co-teaching teams. This information will help fill research gaps that are addressed in this broad scope of importance of collaboration. The research questions are: how do special and general education co-teachers collaborate? What do special general education co-teachers identify as barriers of collaboration? And how do special and general education co-teachers reflect on the collaboration? The expectation of this study is that useful and actionable strategies will be identified for collaborative practices, and that teachers will reflect on their own practices and be willing to use these new techniques to provide services to students in the inclusion classroom. Here are some key terms for the study. The study takes place in a rural high school in northeast Georgia. The demographics are: the school by race is 82% white, 7% black, 6% Hispanic, 3% Asian, and 2% other. 9% of all students have been identified as students with disabilities. The academic structure of the school is a four-block academic schedule. The model for teaching special ed students in the inclusion classroom is co-teaching. One of the blocks per the four is a planning period for teachers. However, not all co-teaching teams have the same planning period. For example, one general education English teacher might have a different planning period than their special education co-teacher. The criteria for choosing participants for the study is special and general education teachers who have currently teach one or more co-teaching classes in English, social studies, math, or science, special education or general education teachers who have taught in the co-teaching environment in Oconee County High School for a minimum of 1 year, and special and general education co-teachers that completed the annual computer-based training. The research design and data sources will first begin with an examination of records of teachers. There will also be observation of the participants' classrooms. There will be a survey, the Colorado Assessment of Co-Teaching, or COACT, that will be used, and interview questions that were adopted from Hoffman's 2000 study of Atlanta, Georgia co-teachers and modified for the study. The procedure for the study is all ethical considerations will be taken seriously, and IRB will be notified of the study. Permission from the school board will be asked for and granted, and then the collection of data. The role of the researcher is an insider researcher because they will be part of the study and will also continue their role in the school, which goes into respecting the site. There wants to be a minimal disruption to normal school activities during the study. Qualitative study was chosen because the literature to support this study was vast. There is a good deal of other studies that help support the need for this study, the qualitative study in this manner. Also, there's interaction with participants from the researcher, which is important. And also, the idea of exploring and understanding something from a qualitative perspective was intriguing. There was an assurance of alignment between the paradigm, participants, and data collection. There were revisions for each of these areas. The participants were selected to be teachers to align with the purpose of the study and ensure that there's a change to benefit special ed students. Also, the collection data tools were modified after feedback from the professor that stated that it'd be better to get a valid source. And the online resources, the feedback from the professor, and the understanding of the ethics were all part of the growth of this researcher here in the